Hello everyone, welcome to another Alexa Bunny video. Today I'll be discussing the Dark Moon Lilith sign in Cancer, and I will be using the website astroesotericpro.com for a lot of my reference points. So the essence of Lilith in Cancer is primarily a conflict. The central conflict is taking place within the individual is the nurturing feminine energy versus the opportunistic / all-encompassing seductress. The role is primarily taken on by the older woman in the family. For example, she could be the eldest daughter or the grandmother. Some adjectives that can be used to describe an individual with Lilith in Cancer would be sensitive, treacherous, moody, fickle, anxious, secretive, tempting, intrusive, domestic, wandering, cowardly. Notable celebrities with Lilith in Cancer in their birth charts would be Princess Diana, the Virgin Mary, Robin Williams, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Oscar Wilde, Gia Karanji, Marilyn Manson, Charles Manson, Kesha, Gwen Stefani, Jennifer Aniston. Now it's important to remember these names for what I'm going to say later, because a lot of their lives mirror the same struggles that Lilith and Cancer people suffer. So some of these frustrations that they encounter would be drug, alcohol addictions, which is seen in Janis Joplin, Gia Karanji, I think Jimi Hendrix, I'm not really too sure, but there is an overall tendency towards abuse of substance in this placement. They tend to have pervading phobias, and their lives usually are involved in or in some way either they are the victim of or the perpetrator of the suffering, rape, murder of women. And the greatest natural disasters / dangers for these individuals would be floods by water, particularly to their home, flooding of their homes, poisoning by liquid, and drowning. And you could see in Janis Joplin's life, she kind of was not only plagued by the alcohol addiction, but she kind of drowned herself in her music and her alcohol. And there's just this general, because it's dark, the most dark sign aspect of the personality, the relationship to water is particularly lethal for these individuals, and they find in their lives the greatest harm comes from water, or maybe they have fear of water or something in that area between water having to do with their downfall. This is the karma of a traitor, a blaspheme, a desecrator of sacred spaces and traditions, a betrayer of those closest to them, one who deserts their homeland. They may be a vagrant or someone who fled their home country for selfish reasons, for the comfort of their personal selfish needs. Because this is, after all, cancer. It has to do with the home, and these individuals, they often have a victim complex, and they constantly need that security, whether it's real or imagined. Their victim complex, they will manipulate those around them to provide them that security that they so desperately crave. But they do have some positive attributes if they tap into it, and they could actually embody the epitome of the perfect / ideal relationship one has with one's parents. Because it has to do with the home, they're so it's important to them to establish a deep bond with their parents, and they generally seek extreme emotional honesty in relationships involving them closest people to them. They have like a really deep, thriving inner world, basically. And because they are themselves inherently traitors, according to their karma, they are actually really good at spotting other traitors and corruptions in government or organizations, any evils. They're good at exposing other con men or dangers to society, because, as the saying goes, like recognizes like. But Lilith in Cancer is recognized generally as the most difficult placement in terms of dark moons and Liliths, and this is because they have some very heavy negative attributes, and these would involve being mistrusted and or unacknowledged by society. Their greatest enemies come from those closest to them. And what I mean by this is that because they have such a thriving inner world, it's very easy for those closest to them to hurt them in a really, really severe, damaging way. And that's why they have a really hard time in life. They tend to, because they're so fragile in that respect. And of course, they have this extreme attachment to the home, as I mentioned. They demand specific conditions and a lifestyle, and this stems from a deep-rooted fear that comes from past lives where they were forced to detach from their roots and wander and or be homeless, actually. And they may find themselves actually wandering a lot in their own lives, and this is really the main reason why they have this manipulative tendency towards the introspective, because it's like a subconscious fear they carry. They don't want to experience that deep sense of alienation and abandonment that they have, that's so much a part of their being as it is. And Astro Esoteric Pro really, I want to quote something. They put it, a recapitulation, really well. Basically, the Lilith in Cancer individual, karma of a traitor, is a carrier of deep and hidden evil, knows how to conceal his or her bad intentions, and for that reason is particularly dangerous. And in this respect, this is how Charles Manson, you can look at his life and see how he was able to commit the things he was able to because of his placement. Partially, it could be argued because he had that ability to conceal his secretive whims, and that's very much a part of Lilith and Cancer. getting close to someone or something and then betraying it in utmost secrecy. And this is not to say that Lilith in Cancer means that one is a bad person. I myself have this placement. It means simply that they have many struggles in their lives, and their struggles are simply defined in this respect. Each person is of course different, and there are also many other factors to take into consideration. However, I personally relate very much to this placement because firstly, I am kind of a wanderer in life. I talk about this a lot. You know, I often have to keep my life hidden because I know that it might infringe on certain things more than it already has, because I'm already very alienated in life, and I can't expose everything about myself. I'm forced basically to keep these secrets in order to procure a safe space for myself, because I really do need that, because I struggle with social anxiety, and I can't risk being homeless. I've been in situations where I've been forced to wander, or I've been kicked out many times, and it's extremely distressing to someone with Lilith and Cancer, and that's why it's I have this tendency to keep things to myself, because I'm already very much mistrusted, whether it be for a valid reason or not. It's just something that I have to do in order to maintain my own well-being. Because I am an introvert, and I need that home to come back to. If I don't, I am in a perpetual crisis. When I was experiencing being homeless and wandering in streets, I could not take care of myself, and I was mentally very frazzled. And I need that, like the comforts of home life. I'm not like some people who can adapt to that. I constantly need to go home and recharge. I constantly need that. And alright, moving on to something else. I personally do experience much trouble with water, and I find that it's basically my Achilles heel. I did suffer a hurricane flood to my home when I was in high school, and it was one of the most traumatic and life-changing moments and events of my life, and the repercussions of that still hold on to present day. And it was extremely frightening, and I just, in general, there's always been this part of me that was scared to travel. I'm very scared to travel. I refuse actually to leave my home because I'm so scared of the depths of the ocean, because it's just with one wave your whole life could be washed away, and I've seen the consequences of that, and they're one of the most frightening things personally. And I also personally relate very much to the notable celebrity Gia Karanji. There's a really nice movie about her with Angelina Jolie, and basically she was this, wandering girl who was picked up off the street to be a model for art fashion magazines, but she also struggled heavily with addiction and her own problems with identity, and she just had this extremely unique vibe to her. And this personality aspect of hers that I relate to mostly, it's like someone who's able to tap into both male and feminine and not be afraid of either, because at the end of the day, Lilith in Cancer is someone who struggles very much with maternal energies, and even though they strive to be that, there's something really, really strong in them that really yearns to escape the things that entrap women in our society. There's something very that refuses basically to be tied down. It's a little difficult to say because it is a primarily extremely feminine energy, but the whole central conflict guiding Lilith in Cancer is the battle between the maternal mothering side and the basically, wild female looking to survive because that's all she has is herself and her survival, and she doesn't have many options, which is why she is forced to resort to the things that she is forced to resort to. And that is not to say, once again, that these are inherently bad individuals. It is simply that their struggles are different from other people's, and they tend to be very dark struggles. And this is also a reason why some people might think these individuals have dark spirits or are possessed. Like Marilyn Manson, for example. That is not really accurate, because everyone is in a way possessed. Some just more by certain spirits that are a little more intensely inclined towards the darkness. Anyway, I hope this was informative on Dark Moon, Lilith, and Cancer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I hope everyone has a wonderful